Right now, tech companies are experiencing what has to be the biggest innovation boom in a decade. I mean, artificial intelligence is just moving at lightning speed.
Oh, absolutely. It's fundamentally reshaping what we thought computers could actually do.
Right. So the question for you today is, why are these exact same companies firing people by the tens of thousands?
Yeah, it really is the defining contradiction of the tech landscape right now, isn't it? Because we're so conditioned to believe that technological breakthroughs trigger hiring sprees.
Exactly. When a company finds a new frontier, they usually staff up to conquer it.
But today, we're witnessing the inverse of that. You have companies projecting this image of boundless AI-driven potential while simultaneously just hollowing out their own workforces.
And that dynamic is the entire focus of our deep dive today. We are looking at a really detailed breakdown of parallel workforce reductions happening at two of the most dominant players out there, Meta and Microsoft.
Yeah, and the sources really highlight this direct, undeniable trade-off happening right in front of us. It's human capital, the people who actually built these digital empires, versus the staggering physical infrastructure required for AI.
Okay, let's unpack this. Meta is taking what appears to be a very blunt, mandated approach to shrinking its headcount.
Blunt is definitely the right word for it. I mean, Meta is cutting 10% of its workforce.
Wow, 10%?
Yeah, which equates to roughly 8,000 employees losing their jobs, and those departures are starting on May 20th.
That is just brutal.
It is. And on top of those direct layoffs, they're also freezing growth entirely by leaving 6,000 open roles unfilled. So all in, we are talking about a total reduction of 14,000 roles.
That's a massive contraction for a company that, just a few years ago couldn't hire engineers fast enough.
Right, and the internal atmosphere really reflects that whiplash. Employees have spent much of the past year living in the state of pervasive anxiety.
Because the groundwork for this unease was laid well before these 8,000 cuts were announced, right?
Exactly. Layoffs had already swept through Reality Labs and various other divisions before this.
And Reality Labs, just for context, is Meta's virtual reality and metaverse division.
Yes. And keeping that in mind is crucial for understanding the psychology inside the company right now. Because just a few years ago, Mark Zuckerberg literally changed the name of the entire company to Meta.
Right, to signal this total pivot toward the metaverse.
Right. They poured billions into Reality Labs. But now, the wind has changed. The industry consensus has shifted from the metaverse over to generative AI.
So Meta's just rapidly course-correcting.
Basically, yeah. Pivoting massive resources away from their previous vision to chase the new one. And for the employees, it just demonstrates how quickly big tech will discard yesterday's multi-billion-dollar innovation to fund today's.
Which brings us to how this news was actually delivered to the workforce. Meta's chief people officer, Janelle Gale, sent out an internal memo confirming the cuts.
She did, yeah. But the interesting part is the memo was released earlier than planned.
Right, because the details of the restructuring had already leaked to the press. Reuters reported on the impending cuts earlier in the month.
Yeah, and Gale actually addressed that directly in her note. She wrote, let me find the quote. "I know this is unwelcome news, and confirming this puts everyone in an uneasy state, but we feel this is the best path forward, given the circumstances."
She also tied it directly to their financial strategy, right?
She did. She explicitly stated the cuts are designed to help the company run more efficiently and, quote, allow us to offset the other investments we're making.
I mean, think about it like this. Imagine a ship crewed by thousands of people who spent years maintaining the sails. Suddenly, the captain decides the only way to survive is to buy a massive, coal-powered engine.
Right, and you have to shrink the crew just so you can afford to buy the engine.
Exactly. It's a violent shift in capital allocation. But going back to Gale's reasoning about the communication strategy, it feels really off to me.
How so?
Well, she says they released the memo early because of a leak, framing it almost as a courtesy to the employees. But doesn't that just mean leadership completely lost control of the narrative?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that doesn't look like proactive transparency. It looks like reactive damage control, while your employees are left in an uneasy state, waiting to read about their own jobs in a Reuters article.
You're spot on. When a company the size of Meta cannot contain details about an 8,000-person layoff, it really highlights internal disarray. Genuine transparency is bringing the workforce along on the journey.
Yeah, explaining the pivot before the rumors start.
Exactly. Reactive transparency forced by a news cycle just breeds resentment. Gale acknowledges the uneasy state of the staff, but her memo didn't generate that unease. It was incubated over weeks of whispers.
Right, leaks and watching resources actively pivot away from Reality Labs toward AI. It's just a messy, brute force way to shrink a company.
It really is.
But then you look over at Microsoft, and their approach to reducing headcount looks, I don't know, so much gentler on the surface.
On the surface, yes.
But when you start pulling it apart, it reveals this intense, almost desperate level of urgency.
What's fascinating here is that the methodology is entirely different. Where Meta is handing out mandated pink slips, Microsoft is offering voluntary buyouts to its U.S. employees.
Right. And the sheer scale of this program is what makes it so notable. Break down the numbers on that for us. How wide of a net is Microsoft casting?
So, according to the internal data, about 7% of Microsoft's U.S. workforce will be eligible for these voluntary buyouts.
Okay, 7%.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, as of June 2025, Microsoft employs roughly 125,000 people in the United States.
Wow. Okay.
So that means they are targeting approximately 8,750 workers with this exit offer. Internal sources actually noted that Microsoft has never executed a buyout program of this magnitude in its entire history.
That's staggering. And the mechanism they are using to determine who gets this offer is fascinating, because it's not just a blanket offer to anyone who wants to leave.
No, not at all.
They are using this very specific formula called the Rule of 70. To be eligible, an employee's age plus their years of service at Microsoft must equal 70 or more.
Let's apply that formula. If an employee is 50 years old, they would need to have been working at Microsoft for 20 years to hit that magic number of 70.
Okay, makes sense.
Or if they are 55, they need 15 years of tenure. Now, there are a few exceptions, like certain senior executive roles and specific sales incentive plans are excluded. But for the vast majority of the workforce, this formula acts as a highly targeted filter.
So think about your own workplace for a second. Imagine if leadership suddenly offered a lucrative early retirement package specifically designed to clear out every single person who has been there for 15 or 20 years.
It would be a shock to the system.
Right. And Microsoft's chief people officer, Amy Coleman, wrote a memo to the staff where she said, "I've never seen the company move with this level of urgency and pace."
Which is quite a statement.
It is. But if you're trying to move faster than ever before to win a global technology race, isn't it wildly counterintuitive to pay your most veteran, experienced employees to walk out the door? Aren't they risking a catastrophic brain drain right when they need steady hands on the wheel?
It is a massive gamble, and it reveals exactly how leadership views this transition to artificial intelligence.
How so?
Well, in a traditional corporate environment, institutional knowledge is this highly protected asset. You want the people who have seen the company through previous transitions.
Right, the veterans.
Exactly. But Microsoft's strategy suggests they believe the AI paradigm shift is so fundamentally different from the software and cloud eras that the institutional knowledge of the past 2 decades is just no longer the asset it used to be.
Wow. So they are explicitly valuing agility over embedded experience.
That's exactly it. They're betting that a 20-year veteran knows how to run the Microsoft of 2015, but maybe isn't built to run the Microsoft of 2030.
That is ruthless.
It is. But there's also a blunt financial calculation driving the rule of 70. Tenure correlates directly with compensation.
Of course.
Yeah. Employees who have been at a tech giant for 15 or 20 years usually have the highest base salaries, the most generous stock grants, and the most expensive benefits packages.
So by targeting this specific demographic, Microsoft can shed a massive amount of operating expense.
Precisely. Coleman's memo talks about simplifying to support everyone, which, is just standard corporate phrasing for removing middle management and highly paid senior individual contributors.
You trim the heaviest financial weight so you can run the fastest.
Right. But the risk you pointed out is very real. When you systematically remove thousands of veterans, you lose the invisible glue that holds a massive organization together.
You lose the people who know how to navigate the internal bureaucracies.
Yeah, and the people who know the undocumented fixes when legacy systems crash. Agility sounds great in a memo, but a sudden vacuum of experience can really cause operations to grind to a halt.
So Meta swings the axe, and Microsoft designs this mathematical exit door. 2 very different tactics, but they are both orbiting the exact same financial black hole.
Yes, the AI infrastructure black hole.
Right. Both of these companies are slashing their human payrolls because they are locked in an AI arms race that requires a level of physical infrastructure we have rarely seen in the modern tech era.
The connection is explicit in the sources. Tech giants are scrambling to trim their operating expenses because they're actively pouring billions of dollars into data centers, energy grids, and specialized hardware.
Because the demand for artificial intelligence services is just insatiable right now.
Exactly. And fulfilling that demand requires a staggering amount of capital.
It's wild because we have spent the last 15 years thinking of technology as something invisible. We put our photos in the cloud, we download software over the air.
Yeah, it all feels weightless.
Exactly. But artificial intelligence is intensely heavily physical.
Yeah.
It requires massive, sprawling facilities. Microsoft isn't just writing new code. They are racing to construct global data centers.
Right. They just announced major new AI infrastructure investments in Japan and Australia.
Because AI compute is fundamentally different from traditional cloud hosting, is it?
It is entirely different. When you run a standard web application, it requires relatively little processing power. But generative AI, especially training these massive language models, requires tens of thousands of highly specialized, incredibly expensive processors running in parallel.
And those processors generate an enormous amount of heat.
Yes, which means you need to build entirely new facilities with advanced liquid cooling systems. You need proximity to massive, stable energy grids to power them.
Which explains the push into Japan and Australia.
Exactly. They are securing global real estate, energy contracts, and fiber optic pathways to minimize latency worldwide. It's a physical land grab.
And Meta's on the exact same spending spree, right?
Absolutely. They are projecting record capital expenditures for this year alone. Over the past few months, they've inked multiple multi-billion-dollar deals with AI hardware partners.
So when Janelle Gale mentioned in her memo that the layoffs would help Meta offset other investments, she wasn't talking about software.
No, she was talking about buying processing chips and pouring concrete. The scale of the capital required is breathtaking. A single cluster of specialized AI chips can cost hundreds of millions of dollars.
And the data center to house them costs billions.
Right. Even companies with the unfathomable wealth of Meta and Microsoft cannot maintain their massive, highly compensated human workforces while simultaneously financing the physical foundation of the AI era.
It really is a shift back to the dynamics of industrial era titans. For the last 2 decades, big tech's most valuable asset was human ingenuity.
Yeah, the human capital.
They built sprawling campuses with free food, massages, and endless perks because human brains were the raw material.
Yeah.
The coders and the designers generated the intellectual property.
But now, the defining asset isn't intellectual property held in human minds. It's physical property held in server racks.
The raw material of the AI economy is compute power.
And that fundamental shift in what generates value dictates where the money flows. If compute power dictates market dominance, then capital must be reallocated from payroll to infrastructure. You just cannot code your way to AI dominance if you don't have the data centers to process the algorithms.
But there is a ticking clock behind all of these sudden cuts, and it reveals a lot about the pressures these companies are under.
The Wall Street clock.
Right. Both Meta and Microsoft were scheduled to report their quarterly earnings to Wall Street on April 29th. The timing of an 8,000-person layoff and an 8,750-person buyout program landing just days before an earnings call is not a coincidence.
No, it never is. The quarterly earnings call is the ultimate pacemaker for corporate behavior. It dictates not just what a company does, but exactly when they do it.
So I have to ask, are these layoffs really the result of a visionary, decade-long technological strategy? Or does rushing to finalize tens of thousands of job cuts before the end of April suggest this is really just a blood sacrifice to appease Wall Street investors?
That's the million-dollar question.
Are they just trying to make the balance sheet look disciplined so their stock prices don't crater from all the money they're burning on data centers?
Well, it is a delicate, high-stakes balancing act driven entirely by how Wall Street evaluates a company's health. Financial analysts look at 2 main buckets of spending: capital expenditures, known as CapEx, and operating expenses, known as OpEx.
So building a multi-billion-dollar data center in Australia is a capital expenditure.
Right. It is an investment in a physical asset for the future. Paying the salaries of 14,000 engineers and managers is an operating expense.
And Wall Street is currently demanding that these tech giants win the AI race, which means they expect them to spend record amounts on CapEx.
But, and this is the trap, Wall Street also punishes companies that let their overall profit margins shrink.
Oh, right.
So if Microsoft and Meta walk into that April 29th earnings call and announce that they are spending unprecedented billions on AI infrastructure while also maintaining their massive, expensive human workforces, investors will panic.
The narrative will be that spending is out of control and profit margins are going to collapse.
Exactly. And the stock price will plummet.
So the workforce reductions are basically a mathematical offset.
Yes. By executing these massive cuts, slashing their operating expenses, leadership can walk into the earnings call and present a balanced equation.
They can look investors in the eye and say, yes, our capital expenditures are at record highs to ensure we dominate the AI future. But we have funded that infrastructure by aggressively trimming our operating expenses.
It signals financial discipline. It proves to the market that they are willing to make painful cuts to protect their profit margins while still building the future.
But the rush to get these cuts finalized before April 29th underscores just how much influence the quarterly reporting cycle has over the lives of everyday employees.
Yeah, the strategy might be about AI, but the timeline is dictated entirely by the stock market.
So whether you are an employee sitting in a cubicle at one of these tech giants or just someone observing the shifts in the broader economy, this reveals a stark reality about the current technological revolution.
It really does.
We tend to view AI as this magical, weightless software update that just appears on our screens. But it's not. It is an incredibly heavy, resource-intensive, physical build-out spanning the globe.
And right now, in real time, the foundation for that future is being funded directly by human jobs.
Exactly. The reallocation of capital from human beings to hardware is happening on spreadsheets at Meta and Microsoft today.
The efficiency and automation that artificial intelligence promises for the future is already being preemptively extracted from the workforce today. The cost of building the machines is literally being paid by the people who used to write the code.
Which leaves us with a genuinely chilling dynamic to consider long after we wrap up here. Right now, Meta and Microsoft are laying off thousands of human beings just to afford the physical infrastructure to build artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
They're shrinking the human crew just to afford the new engine. But what happens tomorrow? Once those multi-billion-dollar data centers in Japan and Australia are fully online, once the specialized chips are running at full capacity and the AI models reach their full potential,
Right.
how many of the remaining human jobs will that new technology make obsolete?